And Juicy up in here. Got Big Juicy joining me right now. How's it going?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for being on the show this evening. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's awesome.
So, I get into the wrestling questions. How's everything going on your end during these quarantine times?
They're good. Just going a little stir crazy. It's been about 2 months at this point. So, you can only stay in your house for so long. But I'm good. I'm good. Everything's safe and healthy on my end.
That's encouraging here. So, and with that being said, um, this is how I first heard about you. I've heard of
Okay.
I heard of you through a video. It was one of those challenge videos. Um, I forgot what it's called, but it's the wrestlers have their regular clothes, and then they change into their wrestling clothes. I forgot.
hmm
I
It it was the Don't Rush
Don't
challenge.
Wush. Yes, there we go. So yeah, I think I've
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah I've heard of you through some mutual friends that we have, and I'm like, Big Juicy. Okay, I like what I see. I like that they know that WWE. I first saw them doing it, and then I see more independent wrestlers are doing it, and it's quite a cool thing. Even see, I first saw the woman of WWE doing it, and then I saw Becky Lynch doing it. Of course, that was prior
Yep.
to her being pregnant. She was like, nah. and then I
Right.
and then I saw the men did it, and that was pretty cool. All Truth, Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke is probably my favorite out of all the guys.
Yeah.
She,
Yeah, it was awesome. It was really cool to see.
yeah. So I got to give props to the fellas because I didn't know they were gonna be up for it, but they stayed up to the challenge.
Right?
So I props to them for showing that hey, we love you ladies, but too. So that was quite entertaining. So how did you get started into wrestling?
So I got started into wrestling. I was always a fan. I started watching wrestling around the time I was probably like 9 years old. Um, I was an avid watcher, avid fan, probably until I was 14 or 15 years old. At that point, I was in high school, and I was like, I'm the only girl I know that likes wrestling, and that's kind of weird. Like I was a tomboy, like no one else was into wrestling, so I kind of died for a couple of years until I got involved with someone who was into wrestling, and I was like, okay, I can like get into this again. So I got back into it as a fan, and then just about a year and a half ago, a mutual friend, a mutual worker, was telling me about a facility in my local area. I'm based out of Western Massachusetts. And he said, hey, there's this place in Holyoke, Kevin Landry's Pro Wrestling Common, and I know you're into wrestling and you've always wanted to try it. Like, you should give it a shot. I was like, all right, cool. At the time, I was in grad school and I was just finishing my master's. So I said, you know what, I've got some time. Let's see what happens. And I started training. Um, and yeah, that's how I got here today. I've only been involved in the working aspect of wrestling for about about a year and change. A year and I want to say about a year and 4 months. So
That's cool. With you being over a year in, how do you feel about your uh, skills? How you feel about your progression as a wrestler? Like, what are some things you've learned? What are some things you've done good at? What are some things you feel like you can improve on as you continue to go forward?
that's a loaded question. Uh, I mean, in terms of, like, I know you touched on, like, wrestling skills. So when I say I've only been in this for a year and a half, that's total, including training, and then once I started working shows and events. So I've only been working shows since this past October.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that's October, November, December, January, February, March. So really like 6 months. I trained for like a year and then have been working actively for 6 months until the world got put on pause. But in terms of skill set, I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, I mean, so you saw the video.
Yeah.
It's no secret. I'm a bigger girl. So I'm still trying to find, like, those skills that, you know, will work for me. Because I'm not going to try and fake anyone out and try and pull some, like, lucha stuff, right? Like,
right.
That'd be sick if I could. But, you know, I'm going to be realistic with what my limitations are and my comfort level. And like I said, I'm still trying to find those things. So I'm always constantly trying to work and train, get as many match opportunities as possible, to, you know, get some exposure and just learn from everyone that I get in the ring with.
That's fair, and I definitely respect that, you know, especially someone that's about a year in, from the training to doing shows in front of an audience here and there. You know, people try to do too much and things don't work out. So, you know, you're still learning, you're still getting the hang of things, and I look forward to seeing you more evolve, you know, at least once we get out of these quarantine times and y'all get to getting back to doing what y'all love to do. So, you know, people have stories and, you know, stories behind the nicknames and stage names. So who came up with Big Juicy? Was it you? The promotion idea? Like, how did that came to be?
Oh, it's a wild roller coaster of how I became Big Juicy. So it starts when I had my first match back in this past October. And I didn't find out that I was going to have my first match until like 4 weeks before. So, and I mean, my first match was a small school show. So when I say school show, it was hosted for like a free event at the training facility that I go to. So 4 weeks prior, like, hey kid, we're giving you your chance. You're making your debut. You're going to make your in-ring appearance, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, great. So I'm scrambling. I'm getting geared together. I, like, lucked out and found this person local to me that was, like, 20 minutes away who was able to throw something together for me, like, in no time at all. I lucked out so much with that. So I wasn't even thinking about my name, my gimmick. I just was so focused on the match itself and the fact that it was finally happening. So fast forward to the day of the show. I've got my gear. I feel good about my look. It was established that I was going to be the heel. So they were writing out the card in the list of the matches, and the promoter comes up to me and he says, so what's your name, kid? And I was like, oh, right, I need a name. And I was struggling with that for a week prior. And I was talking to all my friends that I had acquired over the past year of training and was like, hey, so how did you figure out your name? And they're like, you know, your first name, it's never going to stick. Your first gimmick, there's always time to change as you grow and evolve as a performer and a worker in the ring. So I was like, okay. So I came up with, I was like, Roxy, but I don't know what I want to, like, what the second half is going to be. It's like Roxy. And then the promoter looks at me and goes, Roxy Star, your name is going to be Roxy Star. I was like, all right, whatever. Like, at this point, I just want to make sure I do my job in the ring, remember the match called, and can say, like, off, first match done in the book. So fast forward a couple matches, I'm working a storyline with this girl. Her name is Daje Simone. And again, I was the heel. She was the face. we're in the middle of the heat, and I'm working the heat. And then all of a sudden, juicy, juicy, coming from the crowd. And at that point, I was still like 3 or 4 matches into my career. So I wasn't really worried about engaging with the audience in the crowd. And I just was like, I'm in the ring. I have to do my job. This is it. So briefly, there's 3 big dudes on their feet chanting, juicy, juicy. So it's like, what's happening? So I didn't think anything of it. Finish the match. The event ends. And I come out from backstage with my gear and everything. And they come up to me like, yeah, did you hear us cheering for you? Juicy, or girl. And slowly over time, people started to call me Big Juicy, and we're dropping off the Roxy Star. So I was like, you know what? It's over. People are catching on to it. I dropped Roxy Star, and then I became Big Juicy. So the long and the short of it is, Big Juicy became Big Juicy because of 3 biker dudes.
That is one of the best stories I've ever heard.
It's so crazy. I never would have thought that that's how I would have become who I am today, thanks to 3 biker dudes that were complete strangers to me. Yeah. Now they're like 3 of my biggest followers. It's pretty cool.
One thing about fans' participation is that, you know, they'll do the usual cheers and boos, and when it comes to the heels, they'll try to distract you, get you caught slipping. You know, fans too. Yeah. You know, it happens to every wrestler. Like you either just react or you just keep going to work.
Yeah.
So you know.
And it was crazy because I was working as a heel, and then I go back and my trainer, Kevin Landry, he looks at me and goes, "How does it feel to be a face, kid? You're too over to be a heel." I was like, all right, cool. So that was the end of my heel career. Now I've been working face.
Big Juicy. Shout out to the biker guys. So, with all of us in quarantine, a lot of entertainment, music, sports, wrestling, pretty much on the back burner. Independent wrestling shows in particular, the heartbeat of wrestling, wrestlers are not able to do shows, and promoters have to wait and see if and when restrictions will be lifted enough for y'all to at least do shows. So for the time being, fans, people are supporting independent wrestling, where it's very crucial to support these wrestlers as they wait to see when they'll be able to get back to performing. For wrestlers, please buy their merchandise. We shout to them, see if they have any 8x10s or T-shirts or stickers, etc.
Yeah.
So for you, Big Juicy, do you have any merchandise that the fans can get from you?
I do have merchandise. The only downfall is I do not have a pro wrestling tees or a Big Cartel website set up yet. But I am in the process of taking some inventory photos of what I have, and I will be posting that on my Big Juicy Wrestling fan page on Facebook. And once I get everything put up, I have shirts. I have 2 different style T-shirts. I have 2 different 8x10s. I have drawstring backpacks, and I even got a little jewelry for the women. I have some necklaces.
Oh, if you ever get those Big Juicy T-shirts, I'm not only going to buy one, but I'm going to work with it. I just got my job.
Absolutely.
I just got my job back like 3 weeks ago as of today, and business is starting to pick up, and I'm going to be working overtime. So, you know,
Just for last time.
yeah. So, since I can't go to concerts, I can't go to conventions, can't go to all that stuff for a while, the least I can do is buy some merchandise from my wrestling friends. And since I'm interviewing you, I guess that makes us friends. That makes us we're cool. So
Yeah, absolutely.
so yeah, definitely, the t-shirts. Fans, my friends think I'm weird because I be the only person that wear wrestling shirts to work every day, but that's okay. Um, I'm a different common type of breed, and I have
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that.
and
Mm-mm.
I have no
Don't let them tell you.
yeah. I have to introduce to you my friends maybe one day, and maybe you can knock some sense out of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
give them a lecture, and if they get out of line, you have my permission to swing for the fences, pretty much.
Oh, snap.
And
You gonna get me in trouble.
I got you. I got you. I got you. So, why don't you go ahead, promote your social media links? Where can people learn more of all things that is Big Juicy?
Yeah, absolutely. So Big Juicy is out on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. All handles are the same across the board. It is at It's Big Juicy, and Juicy has 3 Y's at the end.
Awesome. So I just liked your Facebook fan page. Uh, I'm already following you on it on Twitter, and I get you on the Instagram as well. Big Juicy, great chatting with you. This was a very fun interview, and thank you for sharing that story about how the Big Juicy name came to be. That is again one of the most entertaining stories I have ever heard. It fans look, us fans, you know, we could be jerks, we could be pricks, we can have our moments, but then we do stuff like this, and then your career took off with that character,
Yeah.
and not look back. So fans, I'm more of a nicer fan. Like I do my usual. I'll talk a little smack here and there. I ain't gonna be like too disrespectful or whatnot. But it's all good and fun, and just a reminder of what we're missing right now. It's that show, it's that interaction, and
Yes.
so and look, and to all the wrestling promotions on TV. Now look, I love y'all. I do my best to watch y'all every week. I appreciate the hard work that y'all doing during these pandemic times. And I know I have mixed feelings about it. Like, this coronavirus thing is still there. Anyone can get it at any given moment. Like, you don't know where people been here and there. So that there's the alarming side to it. But I'm not gonna be a hypocrite about it. I appreciate them for giving some sign of relief, giving some escape
Absolutely.
during these times.
Absolutely.
So it was great chatting with you. Thank you so much, and continue to be safe out there. And we'll chat again soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And same to you, friend. Please stay out there.